How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
Would you give me some idea?
I am not completely like other people.
What do you mean by that?
People dislike me because I am not completely like them. I am trying to do with my life something which few people try to do, and this influences my thinking and consequently my action.
What is it you're trying to do with your life?
Play the piano for people.
I'm not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.
inside my head of crying people facing death. Is this the end? Is this the end? Oh, I'm burning in the Soviet. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the Soviet. This is the final time. What have we done to the world? What have we done to the world? I'm burning in the Soviet. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the Soviet. This is the final
Who the fuck is Karlyn? She's just some sweet lady. She's like in a knitting. She does like a knitting stream. She's like a knitting YouTuber. She does knitting.
Can we grow up a little bit and
Alt
not
Girl
be
sent $200.
retarded?
Have you
Please.
seen the work of Karlyn Borysenko? Anti-commie cult leader and is obsessed with looking at what actual far-left communists are talking about and organizing today, infiltrating them. They infiltrated the universities, schools, media. She has the receipts to back it up. Primary source evidence. Infestation is dire and she calls Republicans idiots eating slop. Agree.
Thank you for the big super chat. Yeah, oh, I know Karlyn B. She's solid. She's funny. I
The
like
Great
her.
Noticer sent $200.
Literally.
So
not
it's,
Ian.
it's not a because I haven't dangled my junk into the combat zone on purpose to get some camera footage, but that's the big part of what's the
Is that
problem.
what you call reporting?
Go
and live
under if
streaming?
you're going to do it.
Yeah,
go
seriously.
undercover. Otherwise, you're wearing a hunk of meat in a lion's den. Nick Shirley, I love you. Take care of yourself, man. Karlyn Borysenko went undercover. Do stuff like that. Like if you want to expose this thing, don't pariah, please.
But Ian, here's and I agree with you to an extent.
I watch these streams, and I've been watching a self-professed fascist named Karlyn who drinks and basically roasts these live streams. But weirdly, she has apparently embedded herself with Antifa before, and so it's such a funny stream because
So they tolerate her?
oh no, not anymore. She no. She's like, I mean, I don't know if she's trolling or not, but on her stream, she's like, I am a fascist.
Right.
So she's proudly proclaiming she's a fascist. I don't know how much of that is trolling, how much of it is real, but conservatives who are drawn to her stream will say things like, these people are funded by George Soros. And it's the funniest thing because she gets so mad. And she's like, get off fucking Fox News. Stop watching that shit. It's all wrong. Do these people look funded? Do these people look like they have money? They're not funded. It's so, and I guess her bigger point is by saying these are funded agitators and not saying what they actually are, which is anti-capitalist revolutionaries, you dilute what's really happening. Because what's really happening, according to her, and I think a fair amount of people, is that the economy is so fucked. The middle class is diminishing so much. The cost of living is so high that this is the perfect soil you need if you wanted communism to grow anywhere.
What up, guys? What up? What up? Happy Tuesday. I think it is. I'm on day 2 of being home again, and day 2 of still being completely laid out by whatever travel crud I picked up. I don't know if you guys can hear my voice, but like my voice is like I don't feel like I feel really weak. I should be honest. My body, like I am feeling my 29 years today. I'll tell you what. I am feeling my 29 years, but you know what? The show must go on. Even if I can barely talk, the show must go on. I sound a little bit better than yesterday. I don't look as sick as before. I guess that's progress. I feel exactly the same, but that's all right. That's all right. We got work to do, and we can't stop just because I got a cold. Did I talk to Duncan Trussell? So you know what? It's funny. I had never even heard of Duncan Trussell before he went on Joe Rogan. Now, no one should take offense to that. I don't watch anything that's not socialism, and so I don't watch comedy. I don't watch fun things on the internet. I don't watch commie. Duncan Trussell's not a commie. I don't watch comedy on Netflix and things like that. I don't listen to other people's podcasts. So I had never even heard of Duncan before he mentioned me on Joe Rogan. But you know what was funny is I literally landed in Portland and I posted on Twitter, I've landed in Portland. And within probably 20 minutes of me posting on Twitter that I was in Portland, Duncan had slid into my DMs. And Duncan said to me, Karlyn, I'm in Portland too, and I'm doing comedy shows at this comedy club in Portland. And I would love for you to come, and I'll put you on the list, and I would love to meet you. So while I was in Portland, I actually did go to see Duncan's comedy show, and it was awesome. He was so funny. I was on the floor the whole time. And then I got to go backstage and I got to sit in the green room with him and hang out for like an hour. And he's just a super cool dude. And I got to hang on. Told you guys I was so sick. I got to hang out with Honey Badger Mom. Honey Badger Mom came with me to this show, and we both got to hang out with Duncan Trussell and the other person that was like opening for him. And they were lovely and they were awesome, and it was great. And it was a really, really nice kind of like reprieve from all of the chaos we were in. And Duncan was so cute. He was like, "You two are actually putting yourselves in danger." We're like, "We know. We know. We want to go back out there." And I tried to get him to come to the ice facility. And he was like, "Fuck no, I'm not coming to the ice facility." I was like, "Okay, Duncan, I understand. Fair enough. Fair point, well made." But he's a cool dude, and I'm really glad we connected, and I really enjoyed my time chatting with him, and I loved his comedy show that I saw, and that was really nice. So that was a really cool thing that happened in Portland. Hang on, I'm gonna cough again. See, I wasn't even coughing until I started talking. Now I'm coughing. Of course, it's always the way it works. But am I chilling at Chandler's? No, I'm not at Chandler's today. No, I'm at home. I am at home in the bustling metropolis of New Hampshire today. But we got some business to take care of, guys. We always have business to do on this show. Hang on, hang on. What we're going to be watching today is actually a rally that I attended in person. Wait, seriously? Channel reported for misinformation and supporting terrorism. Guys, do I already have retards in my chat? Is this already a retard chat kind of day? Look, I can make the chat on the side taller now. Look at this. Look, StreamYard has allowed me to manipulate the chat on the side, and we can make the font bigger. So if you guys really want to see your chats, we can make the font even bigger now with the chat on the side. Isn't that cool? So can everyone, now that we can see all your chats on the screen, can everyone admonish the retard in my chat who just tried to report me for terrorism? Can you guys all shame this retard in the chat? Like, it's very, guys, we have a reputation to uphold here. It is very, very important that no matter what happens, no matter how many times Andy No tries to drag me, no matter what, we always need to be shaming retards as much as humanly possible on my channel. It is not acceptable. It is not acceptable to be a low IQ retard on my channel. Coming in and reporting me for terrorism and misinformation, bro, all I do is watch other people's content. Are you smart enough to be here? Go away. Yeah, Shane, exactly. We're shading him. We're shading him. Unironically, the drunk. Oh, yo, I just realized this. Guys, wait. Everyone stop. Hang on. Pay attention. I need everyone to listen. Do you guys know the drunk MAGA retard that hit me in Portland? Do you know what the drunk MAGA retard's name is? I just put 2 and 2 together. Do you guys remember what the drunk MAGA retard's name is that assaulted me in Portland? This is too perfect. This is like this is the universe winking at us. Guys, the drunk MAGA retard in Portland, his name is Shane. And now, and when we're shaming people in the chat, we call them Shane. Yeah. Now, like, it's like the universe has collided. The drunk MAGA retard's literal name is Shane. Listen, man, the universe never lets us down. The universe will always wink at us and say, I got you. I got you. I'm going to deliver you the funniest possible thing. I'm going to deliver you the funniest possible outcome. Holy shit. Yeah, Shane on you. Yeah. See, I love my chat. I love you guys. I love that you guys get it. Why? Wait. Why call them retards? Well, those who, you know what? This is a fair point. Listen, man, people with Down syndrome are beautiful people that add value and beauty and humanity to the world. I really do believe this. You will understand kindness and empathy and all of these things, all of these wonderful, beautiful things when you interact with people with Down syndrome. I don't mean to put down people with Down syndrome when I use the word retard. And I understand, and I would imagine that people with Down syndrome know that. I actually think that people with Down syndrome are like have it together enough to know that I am not talking about people with Down syndrome when I say the word retard. I'm talking about low IQ idiots. Like, we love people with Down syndrome. People with Down syndrome are great. They allow you to see humanity in a human being. We are not talking about that when we call people retards. Yeah, that's in Shane. Exactly. Yeah, we're cool with the Down syndrome folks. Like, we have no beef with them. As someone who leans towards trad con libertarian, it's good to see someone else battle magatardia on the right as well. Misery loves company. Yo, the struggle is real. Yeah, we're down with Downies. We have no issue with them. We have issue with low IQ morons that cause problems on my channel. That's what we have an issue with. If you call people with actual brain issues retard, you're a dick. That's true. When you have a full brain capacity and are still acting retarded, that's when you're going to get called retarded. Yes, this is actually true. I'm not talking about people with intellectual disabilities. I'm talking about people who damn well should know better and still choose to act like retards. Okay? It's not my fault they're acting like retards. It's their fault they're acting like retards. If they don't want to get called retards on the channel, then perhaps they should, I don't know, maybe stop acting like fucking retards. It's really just not that hard. I'm not asking too much. Anyway, what we're doing today on the channel is we are going to be watching a rally that took place in Portland on Saturday. I actually did go to it in person. It was raining, it was cold, it was miserable. But the reason that I want to watch this rally with you guys is that I was sitting there listening to it and I was like, holy shit, there is so much communism in this rally right now. There are so many moments of absolute communism in this rally. And I wanted you guys to hear it. And I wanted you guys to hear about the people who are protesting the ICE facility in Portland, what they actually have to say. I want you to hear about the just from all the other leftist activists that are kind of in this whole ecosystem. And I want you to hear out of their mouth what they believe and why they're doing this, because they are very clear about why they are doing this. Yeah, I was literally on Saturday, I was literally in an episode of Socialism Saturday. I may not have been doing an episode on the internet, but I was in a real life episode of Socialism Saturday. So that's what we're going to be doing today, guys. And so if you want to chill out and watch the anti-ICE rally in Portland from this past weekend, please feel free to pull up a chair. I got a couple other orders of business before we get started. Number one order of business is I want to thank everyone who has become a new member of my Substack lately. That is Karlyn, Karlyn, .substack.com. Substack is one of my main places where you can support my content on the internet. If you appreciate the work I do and you want to keep me in business, the very best way to do so is sign up for a membership on Substack, $8 a month, $80 a year. I am 100% funded by you guys. I have no political masters. I have no one telling me what narrative I need to follow. I have no one telling me what to say and do. I have no one telling me what content I can and cannot publish. Okay. And so if you want to keep that kind of like business model intact, make sure you're supporting my work on Substack. The reason is that because I am funded by you guys, I can say whatever the F I want on the internet. And that's really important because I feel like we're entering into an era where there is so much quite bullshit. Can I just say that bullshit? There's so much bullshit going on the internet right now. You know, it was funny. I was with one of my community members in Portland. One of my community members came and she hung out with me the whole time and she kind of watched out for me and she had my back and it was awesome. Shout out to Simona. Simona was great. And yeah, I'm funded by mutual aid. Just like Antifa, I am funded by mutual aid. That's exactly right. And so one of the things that Simona and I talked about when we were in Portland was that the thing about the Portland ICE facility, the thing about the Portland ICE facility is that it's basically Twitter manifested in real life. It's all these different, I'm going to show you guys pictures of this eventually. Like, it's all these different content creators that are running around trying to create drama with each other. And this is true on the left and the right. Both sides were doing it. And it was just like how the Portland ICE facility worked is like people would get in a fight with each other and everyone would run over and film it. And you'd have this giant circle of people and everyone has their phones out and everyone has their phones on sticks and they all have microphones. Everyone's trying to get the best shot of whatever fight is going on at the time. And then the fight is over and then it kind of dies down and then people kind of hang out for a while and then everyone gets bored because there's no action all the time. And so once people start to get bored, they start another fight again. Now, none of these fights ever actually accomplish anything, but it's just like, it's like Twitter manifested in real life. It's like you've got all these stupid fights that are going on all over the place. And the reason that people are fighting is not actually to do anything productive. It's like on the right, they're fighting because they want to own the libs. On the left, they're fighting because they're communists and that is what they do. And they don't know any other way. They're not even, communists are not even capable of communicating with people who are not other communists. That was another interesting thing that happened. All they can do is yell and shout. Like they actually are not capable of having a conversation. And it's just like, we're like, Simona and I were looking at this and we were like, this is Twitter in real life. Twitter has manifested in front of the Portland ICE facility in real life. And so then we were thinking about like, okay, so what's going on with this low IQ retard that assaulted me? For those who don't know, the Too Long Didn't Read story is a bunch of MAGA people were drinking one night. They were drunk outside of the ICE facility. I walked by them wearing black because apparently you're not allowed to do that. And they assumed I was Antifa and they started yelling and screaming at me. And then I put my middle finger in the guy's face and I told him to fuck off. And then he hit me. And then another guy came over and hit me too. So I was literally physically assaulted by MAGA people. And then I started screaming at them. And then Andy No took that video and put it on the internet, not showing the part where I was assaulted by the MAGA people, just showing the part where I screamed at them. We'll talk about Andy No in a second. But like, so we were thinking about, Simona and I were thinking about like, what does it say about, like, what is this issue with, like, the MAGA retards coming and getting drunk and assaulting people indiscriminately because they're assuming they're an Antifa? Do you know what it was? It's my chat in real life. The drunk MAGA retards were no different than the MAGA idiots who come into my chat and they think we're all communists. For people who are new here, you may not have seen this phenomenon yet, but for people who've been around my channel for a while, almost every single episode of Socialism Saturday, we get people in the chat who are just, they subscribe just to yell at us for being communists. And they don't figure out that we're not communists. I mean, the video's out there, the clips are out there. I showed it on a live stream the other day. You can look at other people's live streams. The video is definitely out there. I haven't made a clip of it because other people did, but you can go find clips of me being physically assaulted. People in the chat can attest to it. One in the chat, if you saw the video of me being physically assaulted by the drunk MAGA retard. It wasn't hard. I wasn't hurt or anything, but I was absolutely hit by the drunk MAGA retard. One in the chat, if you saw that. I just want like to confirm to this guy that does actually exist. You can ask the chat. Yeah. So what Simona and I talked about is like, this is literally the idiot MAGA retards coming into my chat to yell at us for all being communists, and it's manifested in real life. So it's just like a weird situation. And, you know, one of the things I've been thinking about a lot is that like the internet is so tribal right now. everyone is just shilling a narrative on either side. And it's like you don't really know what's true and what's not. And even when I go into places like Portland, you know, like I genuinely do like a lot of the content creators I met there. I really like Nick Sorter. I wasn't expecting to like Nick Sorter. Nick Sorter is actually a really fucking nice guy. I really like Chad. I'm fired up on Twitter. He was a really nice guy. Now, he doesn't agree with me on some stuff right now, but he's a really nice guy. I love Jonathan Cho. I love Katie Daviscourt. Katie Daviscourt, one of the nicest people in the world. Honey Badger Mom. I spent an entire day with Honey Badger Mom. Honey Badger Mom and I just went around to all the different socialist bookstores in Portland that we could find, and we did some shopping. And you know what? Honey Badger Mom got herself a Bashback pin. Honey Badger Mom actually found a Bashback pin in real life that she now has, and it's awesome. JD DeLay, I love JD DeLay. What a good fucking guy. What a good dude. So I'm not trying to shit talk the content creators that I met when I say this, but like a phenomenon that I definitely noticed when I was in Portland is there are a lot of people there that are instigating drama on both sides just to cause content. Yes, Honey Badger Mom absolutely knew what Bashback was. You want to know why? Honey Badger Mom listens to me. Honey Badger Mom actually listens to the content. So she absolutely knew what it was. And she's seen the, Veli, awesome dude. But there are absolutely people there that are seriously just instigating fights in order to create content. And I got to be honest with you guys. Listen, I know a lot of you have asked me about like, the basically everyone going to, hang on. Told you I got a cold. People asked me, we can talk mad shit about Matt Retardio. Oh, Matt, his name is not Matt Tardio. His name is Matt Retardio. I don't even want to, like, I don't even know enough about this guy to care to think about him anymore, but Matt Retardio can kiss my fat fucking ass. That's how I feel about that. If you want to talk shit about Matt Retardio, you go right ahead. Anyway, I want to talk about going to Chandler's house on the last night because I know, well, you know what? Actually, Cam Higbee was really nice to me. And again, like he's someone that I didn't actually expect that I was going to get like along with. And I wouldn't say we're not friends or nothing, but like I would say that Cam Higbee was very nice to me. And Cam Higbee's out there working, man. I'm going to give like, listen, I do think that Cam Higbee is instigating things to a certain extent, but Cam Higbee is out there fucking working. So I have respect for that, man. I really do. Anyway, so I want to talk about going to Chandler's house because a lot of people have commented on this. A lot of people have commented on the interview that I got to have with Chandler, which was great. And I am trying to get in touch with Chandler to bring him on the channel. I have contact information with him. I've reached out. I have a couple different ways I'm going to try to get in touch with him. I'm going to try to get Chandler on the channel because I do actually want to hear more from him. And I actually do want to hear what he thinks. But I want to talk about when everyone went to Chandler's house. The whole thing did not sit well with me, if I'm being honest. Now, I know the argument is going to be that people outside of the ICE facility haven't been able to sleep for months and months and months, okay? And so people are like, if people in the apartment outside of the ICE facility haven't been able to sleep because Antifa is making all sorts of like nonsense and noise, then why should Chandler be allowed to sleep? It kind of rubbed me the wrong. I wasn't involved in the planning of the going to Chandler's house thing. I just followed them along because that's part of my job being there. The whole thing kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't like that a mob of people basically approached someone's private residence in the middle of the night when Chandler was asleep. And I have to say, I think that Chandler won the optics war on that one. I think the way that Chandler handled it, he was completely calm the entire time. He didn't have any outbursts. He was like actually just like being like, what the fuck is even going on right now? He had a whole mob of people outside his house yelling at him and screaming at him and taunting him. And I know that everyone was having fun. And again, I really don't mean to shit talk anyone, but like the whole thing just rubbed me the very wrong way. It was like, we're going to go and instigate just to create content, just to have something controversial on the internet, because a lot of like there hadn't been any like big blowups that night or anything like that. And so I don't know, man. I think that both sides are getting caught up in the whole content thing. And again, I'm not defending Chandler or anything like that, but like, how would you feel? How would you feel if a mob of people showed up at your house in the middle of the night and were just screaming at you and berating you and weren't even allowing you to talk, and they were all sticking cameras in your face and doing that? I mean, was that the most productive thing we could do? And I'm going to tell you this, there was a reporter there. And I know there was a reporter there because she was following me around, okay? There was a reporter from This American Life there, which is an NPR show. And I got to tell you, I don't think, and I talked to this reporter before I ever agreed to help her, and I do think that she's a relatively fair-minded person. And I think that my thought behind it was, I think that This American Life could actually tell a really interesting story about what's going on down in Portland. But like, I don't think optically it came off the way that the MAGA people think it did. Because even me, even Simona, even there were other people in the crowd, and I know that this American Life reporter who was recording the entire fucking thing, I think all of us, there were a bunch of us that were kind of like, this is maybe going a little too far, and I don't think that it's good. And so I have to say, like, the whole thing for me has kind of doubled down. This is a very long-winded way of saying, the whole thing for me has kind of doubled down on my commitment that I want my work to be, I don't want my work to be activism. What do I mean by that? I want to be able to study the left and analyze the left and talk about what the left is doing from an objective, detached perspective. Because I think that the minute that people get caught up in groupthink, the minute that people get caught up in the mob and this mob mentality, and I think that that was a mob outside of Chandler's house that night. Again, I'm not trying to shit talk anyone. I really do love Tommy. I really do. I adore Tommy. I think Tommy is just a nice dude, and I think Tommy is having the time of his life, and I'm not mad at him for it. But I think for me, being kind of like in the middle of that whole experience, it doubled down my commitment that I don't want my work to be like that. I don't want to be a person that's going into one of these things and provoking just for the sake of provoking. I want to study what's actually going on. I want to know what Chandler actually thinks. I don't want to take something Chandler's saying and twist it out of context. I want to know what Chandler actually thinks. I want to know what Chandler's friends actually think. I want to know what the Antifa people actually think. I want to know what their goals are. I want to know how they're organizing. I want to know how they've done what they've done. That's what I want. And so I am going to be doing things a little bit differently than I think a lot of other content creators. It's not any differently than I've been doing it, but like, I really don't want to get caught up in the mob mentality, and I really don't want to get caught up in the groupthink that I see forming down there, and I really don't want to get caught up in this cliquish bullshit. My priority is now and always has been that I want to understand the left, and I want to understand the left as they understand themselves. And I want to teach people about the left, and I want to show people what's going on, and I want to hinge into reality. I don't want my work to be driven by outrage. I don't want my work to be driven by clickbait. I don't want my work to be driven by what I think is going to get the most scandalous views on the internet. I am trying to create an archive of history. I'm trying to create educational resources to help people understand what's going on. And oh yeah, I don't understand the left in the middle of the street. Okay, I don't understand the left. I don't understand the left. Pop quiz. This is just for Megalith Entertainment. How does the left define capitalism? Go. You have 30 seconds to answer this question or you're getting permanently banned from my channel. How does the left define capitalism? Go. This is only for Megalith Entertainment. No one else answer. 30 seconds. No. You're answering my question now. How does the left define capitalism go? You have 20 seconds. How does the left define capitalism go? 15 seconds. Answer the question. You're getting permanently banned. You can say you don't know, or rather admit you don't know. You have 10 fucking seconds. How does the left define capitalism? Go. We're all waiting. Oh, wow. Oh, you didn't answer the question. You didn't answer the question. You didn't answer the question. I actually did have a conversation with the left in the middle of the street. I actually did. But it's too bad. You're permanently banned now because you didn't answer the question. Goodbye. Don't tell me I don't know about the fucking left on my own channel if you can't answer basic 101 level questions. Anyway, with that problem rectified, we're going to be focusing on what I do, which is educate people about the left. Exposing the left, talking about what the left says, talking about their propaganda, talking about their resources. That is what you're funding when you're funding my Substack. You are not funding clickbait outrage or bullshit. You are not funding things taken out of context. We do the work of watching what our opponents say and understanding them in the way they understand themselves. And that's a little bit different. Not that one, not that one. That's a little bit different than what some people do. So before we get into the video, I want to talk about this. While I was in Portland, Andy No started smearing me in order to make people believe that I'm a crazy person, because Andy No is deeply threatened by my work. In response to Andy No in starting a public smear campaign against me, and by the way, Andy No has had people close to him smearing me in private for a while. I know this for an absolute fact. In fact, the morning that Andy No started his public smear campaign against me, I had an hour-long conversation with someone where they told me people close to Andy No are reaching out privately to people in DMs to smear you, to undermine your credibility. So I know that Andy No is afraid of me, and I know he's intimidated by me, and I don't give a fuck. The reason that Andy No is smearing me is because my work is breaking through. My work completely disrupts his narrative. Have I asked Andy why he treats me poorly? Why don't you ask him? Why don't you ask him? But people have asked me for a long time. They say, Karlyn, why don't you work with Andy No? Why don't you work with Andy No? And I've always been so nice about it. And I've always deflected. But now I want to start showing you guys, because if Andy No wants to smear me publicly, we are going to hinge into reality. Now, what Andy No is trying to do is Andy No is trying to make it seem like I'm a secret undercover leftist. And believe it or not, people believe this. In fact, I can show two examples right here. This is someone that's in that follows Andy No, trying to spread this lie. So basically the lie that they are spreading about me, you guys remember when I was on this Antifa hit list? Hang on. I thought that was the commercial building. They got under some nonprofit BS, Portland Immigrant. I don't know, Michael, but I appreciate the super chat. You guys remember the hit list that I was on and hang on. I'm going to take a drink here. Maybe that'll bring my voice back. Hang on. So, at the Seattle Anarchist Book Fair, I was literally on a hit list on that wall. This is a guy named Matt Adams. Matt Adams was also on the hit list with me. Well, guess what? Andy No's followers are trying to spread this lie. They're saying I literally created the hit list in Seattle. Andy No's followers are trying to tell people that I'm Antifa from Seattle and that I literally put myself on the Seattle Anarchist Book Fair hit list. How did she know she was on that list? And Matt, coincidentally, too, could be a setup. They're undercover Antifa. That's not the only one. Here's another one. It should be more than abundantly clear by now that Karlyn and Matt are Antifa going undercover as patriots. Just look at their actions after Portland. Blah, 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 blah. They're literally trying to make the argument that I created the Antifa hit list wall in Seattle. By the way, I wasn't even in Seattle on the first day of this event. I was in San Francisco. And these are Andy No's followers. And so this is the aftermath that we are now dealing with from the Andy No smear campaign, in that Andy No's MAGA retard followers have convinced themselves that I'm secret undercover Antifa and I'm actually creating Antifa hit lists. So I thought it would be an interesting exercise for me to show you guys something. Now, I've threatened to do this for years. I have always said that I have been trying to work with Andy No for years, and it was Andy No who didn't want to work with me. And I've always said that someday I was going to tell you guys all of the stories that have been ignored by conservative influencers that they damn well knew about and refused to tell their audience about because it did not support their bullshit narrative. So this morning on Twitter, I posted a thread. I just want to show you some of the stories that Andy No knew about that he refused to tell his audience about. And this is going back about 2 years. And I could have gone back before that if I had wanted to be quite frank. I'm just going to give you guys a snippet of the information that Andy No had access to because I fucking sent it to him, that he ignored completely and wouldn't tell his audience about. And you can see these are all DMs that I sent him. This is a screenshot of our DMs. So the first one here, this is a story about a militant leftist teaching at the University of Arizona that I recorded undercover at the Socialism 2020 conference. This was directly using taxpayer-funded resources to push Marxism on the University of Arizona students. This was a really good one. This was a discussion about child sex workers that took place at the Socialism 2023 conference, again, that I secretly recorded. This was literally about supporting child sex workers at the Socialism conference. Why didn't Andy No want his audience to know that? Why didn't Andy No want the public to see that there was an open fucking discussion about supporting child sex workers at the Socialism conference? This is a screenshot about the now former head of the American Library Association. I got the now former head of the American Library Association on video saying that librarians could not be politically unbiased. So this was the former head of the American Library Association telling librarians to basically be politically biased in their jobs. I got that on video. Andy never did that. Oh, this is a great one. This is when I got the Revolutionary Communists of America on video talking about violently overthrowing the federal government. This was over a year and a half ago. A year and a half ago, I told Andy No that I had the Revolutionary Communists of America on video talking about violently overthrowing the government. He didn't think that this was important enough for his audience to see, so he never shared it. This was inside an organizing call. So after I got the Revolutionary Communists of America on video talking about violently overthrowing the government, I infiltrated their private recruiting call, and I recorded that, sent all that information to Andy. Andy apparently doesn't think that's important because communists overthrowing the federal government isn't important. Oh, speaking of more overthrowing the federal government, here's the Seattle Revolutionary Socialists talking about overthrowing the federal government. They do this shit all the time. This was about a year ago. I told Andy No about this. He did nothing fucking about it. Here's a story about the Revolutionary Communists of America recruiting high school and middle school students. So you have these revolutionary socialist groups that are out there publicly saying They're recruiting high school and middle school students. Here's how we're doing it. They're giving us their playbook. Did Andy Ngo tell this to his audience? No, of course not. Andy Ngo has literally never reported on this group to his audience. Never reported on this group once to his audience. Do not tell me he is a fucking journalist. He is a Twitter journalist. The only thing he cares about are things that go viral on Twitter, nothing more. This is a story about a socialist publishing company that raised tens of thousands of dollars to create a video game in which they decapitated Donald Trump and Elon Musk. This is more of just a general interest one. It's a board game, right? But like literally, socialist publishing company decapitating Donald Trump and Elon Musk in a board game that they're raising tens of thousands of dollars for. Maybe people should have known about that. Andy Ngo didn't think so. This is the, this is a great one. This is the leaders from the teachers unions. This is another call that I infiltrated. So I'm the only one that has this recording. This is the leader of the teachers unions talking about how they are openly defying Donald Trump's executive orders, that they are advising their members to openly defy Donald Trump's executive orders. Andy Ngo didn't think that was important because Andy Ngo doesn't think that teachers openly violating Donald Trump's executive orders around teaching gender and DEI in the schools, he doesn't think that people need to know about that. That's not even the only example I have like that. Here's an example of Judith Butler. Judith Butler saying that conservatives should be deplatformed and shouldn't have free speech. Andy Ngo doesn't think that's very important enough to share with his audience. Okay, fine. Here's an example. Oh, this is a great one. This is an example of, do you guys know? Did you guys know that Yale University has a research center at Yale University where they are funding professors and Yale University students to go to conservative events to spy on conservatives, and then they bring that information back to their research center at Yale University, and then they basically use that to try to strategize against conservatives. So Andy Ngo doesn't think that's important, though. I don't know. Yale University is funding leftist professors and PhD students to go undercover at conservative events and study them, but sent all that information to Andy. He didn't really care about that. The same leftist student that is going to these conferences to research conservatives also is talking about smuggling abortion pills in from Mexico. Because one of the things the far left is doing is they are sending abortion pills to states where abortion is no longer legal. And so I have the leftist at Yale University that's going to all these conservative events to research conservatives, talking about literally smuggling abortion pills in from Mexico. Andy Ngo didn't think that was important. He didn't want to ever tell you about that. This is a class that I recorded at Harvard University. Harvard University had a literal activism class for students. You can find this on my Substack. This is a literal class where they brought in far left activists to Harvard University to teach Harvard University students about how to be far left activists. This, by the way, I recorded while Harvard was in the process of fighting with the Trump administration. Andy Ngo didn't think that was important for people to tell you. This is a sitting congresswoman. I recorded a sitting congresswoman telling her constituents to go and openly harass conservative politicians. I recorded this on an organizing call for the far left. Oh, did Andy Ngo tell his audience that a sitting congresswoman was advising people to go and actually tell people to harass conservative politicians? No, he didn't. Did he ever reply to any of this? No, almost none of it. Almost none of it. This is a theory, but the fact that you're on the video means he can't take credit. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. One of the reasons Andy Ngo refuses to share this with his audience is he doesn't want me getting credit for my work because he doesn't want people seeing my work because my work disrupts his narrative. If he was interested in informing the public, this shouldn't be a problem. It should never be a problem to give independent journalists credit for their work. But Andy doesn't want to do that, and so that's why he doesn't share it. Here is a Virginia Commonwealth University professor talking about deplatforming conservatives. That was at an event I infiltrated. Here is a UMass Amherst professor talking about indoctrinating youth in a media literacy class. That was at another event I infiltrated. Andy didn't care about that. Here is the head of the National Education Association talking about being involved in the May Day protests. And then she said that we need to make protesting a year-long activity. So Andy No didn't think it was important that the head of the National Education Association was literally telling teachers to make protesting the government into a year-long ongoing activity. Nope, no one needs to know about that. Definitely not, Andy. Definitely not. Oh, wait. Here is the Vermont teachers. I have many videos from Vermont. I'm from Vermont originally, for people who don't know. Here is an example of teachers in Vermont openly talking about defying the Trump administration's executive orders, continuing to teach gender ideology, continuing to push DEI on their students. Andy No didn't want to show that to his audience. Why would he? Here's an example of a college professor that is openly advocating for violent revolution against the government. Why would Andy No report on a college professor that's calling for open, violent revolution against the government? It eludes me. It eludes me as to why he doesn't want anyone seeing this material, probably because it doesn't support his narrative. Here is an example at the Socialism 2025 conference where they were calling to indoctrinate high school kids into the far left. Andy No never reported on that. Here's an example of the vice president of the Chicago Teachers Union openly calling to abolish the Constitution. Did Andy No report on the vice president of the Chicago Teachers Union openly calling to abolish the Constitution? No, of course not. No, of course not. Why would he do that? It's sad that some conservatives public figures let their egos get in the way instead of joining forces to defeat Antifa and other communists. I wholeheartedly agree, Kyle. I wholeheartedly agree. Here's an example. This is a really good one. Do you guys remember those Antifa people that shot up ICE a couple months ago? Here's an example of, we did some research in my community to figure out what propaganda was inspiring those Antifa people. Guess what? It's the same propaganda I get at this anarchist book fair. So we know what those Antifa people who shot up ICE were reading because it was in the back of their car. And so we sent that information to Andy No. Did Andy No tell his audience? Nope. Here's an example of another college professor calling for the use of violence to eliminate people he doesn't like. This was actually in a college class. Andy No didn't report on that. Nope. Here is an example. Oh, this is a great one. If you guys missed this one, we caught the City University of New York having a full-on bondage festival. Did you guys know that the taxpayer-funded City University of New York had a bondage festival in which they dressed up in leather and literally licked people's boots? It was a fetish bondage festival by a taxpayer-funded college in New York. Did Andy No report on that? Nope. Nope. And of course, the most recent one, did Andy No report when I got a Texas State University communist professor on video calling to overthrow the federal government? Did Andy No report on that? No. No, he didn't report on any of this. He knew about all of this stuff, and he never reported on any of it. And guys, I want to be very clear about this. No one is under any obligation to share my work. Andy No is not under any obligation to share my work. But you want to know why I get so pissed off at conservative influencers? Because I know how many stories they don't tell you. I know how many things happen on the left that people like Andy No never report on. He claims to be an expert in Antifa. He claims to be an expert in everything that's going on. He claims to be the #1 source of this news, and yet he never reports on the things that go on day to day. Very, very rarely. Am I going to say that Andy has never shared my work? No, he has. He has. Every once in a while, when I put something out there that supports a narrative that he's trying to sell, he will share my work. That is very, very true. But I also know all of the far left stories that he has not reported, and this is just a drop in the fucking bucket. So don't ever tell me again that I should have tried to work with Andy No. I did try to work with Andy No. Andy No wasn't interested. Andy No doesn't want to inform his audience. He doesn't want his audience to be educated about what's going on. All he wants is to shill out a conservative narrative that supports his brand and that keeps him relevant and that keeps him famous, and that's it. And by the way, these are not the only messages that I can show you that I've had with Andy No. And I will be dropping more information as we continue our war with Andy No, because if he wants to come after me and smear me in public, oh, honey. Oh, honey. I have been filing away this stuff about him for literally years. I have been filing away stories that I know about him for literally years, just in case he ever showed his true colors and came at me. Well, Andy, you made the biggest fucking mistake you've ever made in your life, because I was waiting for him to come at me because I knew he was going to do it at some point, because the minute my work started picking up momentum is the minute that he started getting intimidated. Andy No is no longer doing journalism. Andy No is sitting in a flat in London and sitting on his ass. He's not even going to the protests in London. He's not going to the protests in Paris. He's not bringing us any new information that we can't get somewhere else. I will never take away from him what he has done in the past, and I will never take away that, yes, he got assaulted by Antifa, but guess what, Andy? You are not the only person in the world that's been assaulted by fucking Antifa, okay? Other people have been too. And so if Andy wants to rest on his laurels of like, hang on. Still sick. Hang on. He's been traumatized for years, please. Sorry. He's been traumatized, please. I've been beat up by other people too, man. Hang on. Oh my God, I'm dying now. My throat is dying now. I went on a rant. Anyway. The point I want to make is you guys can support whoever you want, but I will never hold back receipts because they don't support a narrative that I want to sell. And God damn it. I will never hold back receipts because they don't support a narrative I want to sell. And I will never hide the work of independent journalists. And I want to say, too, because I know there are independent journalists watching right now in the chat. I know there are people from Portland watching in the chat. I'm going to say this to everyone in Portland. I'm going to say this to everyone calling. I'm going to get a lozenge in a second, guys. Don't worry. I have them. I'm going to say this to everyone in Portland. I'm going to say this to everyone doing boots on the ground journalism, following the far left. I will never pull the bullshit Andy No has done. If you have a story and you want me to help you amplify it, send me a DM on Twitter. That is the best way to get in touch with me, guys, is to send me a DM on Twitter. If you are an independent journalist and you want direct access to me, send me a DM on Twitter. I will give you my phone number. You can text me anytime. I will help you amplify your stories. I will help you amplify your information. I will never steal shit from you. I will never take credit for your work. We need as many independent journalists fighting the far left and documenting the far left as we can possibly have. And I will never pull the gatekeeping bullshit that Andy No and people like him have pulled for years. And you can hold my feet to the fire on that. I will never steal the work of independent journalists. By the way, I have heard from multiple people. I have heard from multiple independent journalists that Andy No has taken their work without giving them credit. Do you guys know that Andy No doesn't even do his own research? Andy No has someone working for him that does his research for him, and then he puts the story out and he takes credit. So if you are an independent journalist and you want my help amplifying your work, I will do it any day of the week. Just do good work, report on what's going on, show us the video, show us the primary source evidence. I will amplify you. I will send people to your work. I will make sure that you get an audience as much as I possibly can. We need everyone on the ground for this, but I will no longer cover for intellectually dishonest narrative shills like Andy No, who want to lie to people because he wants to be famous on the internet for getting beat up by Antifa 8 years ago. It sucks what happened to Andy No when he got beat up by Antifa. That sucks. But that is not a fucking excuse. You don't get to rest on your laurels forever. You at some point actually have to continue to do real journalism. I feel confident that I'm doing real journalism. I feel confident that my work will stand the test of time. There are many people in the chat that are doing real journalism. There are many on-the-ground reporters, especially people that I met in Portland, that are doing amazing journalism covering the far left. And we need everyone working together that is actually in this for the right reasons. And the right reason is not being famous on the fucking internet. I give two shits about being famous on the internet. I give two shits about going on all of these shows. And that's another thing that happened in Portland, honestly, because it's like, you see all these, like, I was around all these content creators, and it was like, I was watching people like James Klug with his fucking faggoty JK hat on. Like, can you imagine being such a douchebag that you literally wear a hat with your own initials on it? Like, I cannot even imagine. Anyway, so I'm watching people like James Klug. I'm watching people like that right side rebel blonde girl that was just like picking fights with people to make content. I'm like, these people have no intellectual integrity. This is not about getting information out. This is about building a social media brand. I will never be that. I never want to be that. I want to inform people about the left. I want to document what's going on. And I want to work with people who are interested in doing that type of work. And so if that's what you want to do, get in touch with me, join the community, hang out, and I will help you in any way that I can. Okay? So that's all I really have to say about that. My throat is starting to go anyway. It's gay. Like, can we just be honest? Hang on. James Klug. Can we get a picture of him in his hat? Where's his hat? Where I don't even see the hat. Anyway, he has this. No, it's gay. I'm sorry. Like, you know what? You can wear whatever clothes you want, but that hat is fucking gay. It is gay and faggoty and like really fucking cringe to run around wearing a hat with your fucking initials on it and trying to provoke bullshit to create content on the internet. Come on, we're better than that. Can we please just be better than that? Can we please be better than that? That's all I'm asking. I don't think I'm asking too much. All right? It's gay. Yeah, it's fake and gay and cringe and lame. No, it's not based. Nope. It's not based at all. Nope, it's gay. It's gay. Your language is so vile. Yup, it is, bitch. Yup, it is. Yup. Conservatives cringe. Conservatives would rather reprimand me about my language than deal with Antifa. This is the world in which we live in. Let me just block this evil cunt in the chat. Bye, Jennifer. Bye, Jennifer. Bye. You're blocked, bitch. Bye. Go away, Jennifer. We don't care about you, Jennifer. Go away. Block. There we go. Something satisfying about that. Anyway, let's get into it, guys. We're going to be watching the, with that very long introduction, we're going to be watching a rally that took place on Saturday. This was in Portland. This was about 3 blocks down. This is about 3 blocks away from the ICE facility. And so, hang on. Ocean Plot. Shout out Ocean Plot. One of the nicest guys out there, by the way. It was a real pleasure to meet Ocean Plot. I met a lot of national streamers this weekend. It feels like I'm like a normal guy with good intuition. There's definitely a lot of ego, and it's rare to find people who are just interested in the story. Yeah, that's real, bro. That is very real. All right, we're going to get into it now. We're going to be watching the rally that took place a couple blocks away from the Portland ICE facility on Saturday. We're going to listen to their speeches. I want you guys to hear what they're saying. I want you guys to hear what their points are. This is, again, the people who are actually protesting in front of the ICE facility. So let's hear what they have to say. We'll get into the speeches here. We'll get when they start. I thought I was poked up. Here we go.
Well, hey everyone, how we doing now? Woo! Well, you know, a little rain doesn't stop us, especially as
how is the volume, guys?
We're going to be out here, rain or shine, standing against ICE, standing against kidnappings in our neighborhoods, standing against attacks on our communities and our friends and our family and us. We stand against this. as the people of Portland, as you know, the
Volume
people in
good?
this country, we have a duty to stand up for what's right, and we know that this is not right, what they're doing. So we must take a stand. I just want to say hello, everyone. My name is Casey. I'm a member with I'm a member of Portland for Palestine, and sorry, I'm trying to deal with the feedback. I'm sorry if you're getting blasted, but it is a little rainy. So, and we're a member of the Coalition to Revoke the ICE Permit, and we believe that it's important to be out here no matter what. It's important that we are in front of that ICE facility to demonstrate that it is not right what they're doing, what they are doing to the people who are protesting, who are standing up for our friends and families and communities. It is not right, and that facility must be shut down. We reject the notions that our community leaders have stated, or that state officials have stated, that we must not take the bait, because what we believe is, if we were told to not take the bait, why is the bait here to begin with? Why is that facility still up? There was years and years that could have been shut down, and that is in the hands of City Council. As much as City Council wants to say, we can't do much, we can't do anything, well, guess what? The timeline to revoke the permit, there is a chance for them to revoke that permit and start the reconsideration process in less than 30 days. November 17th. On November 17th, it would have been 60 days since that building was served with a violation of their land use permit.
Okay, so I want to explain what's happening here. So people want to know, I posted a short video about this the other day, but I want to give more context for what you're hearing. People want to know, why is Antifa protesting outside of the ICE facility? Why are they doing things like these costumes and stuff like that? It's not just a protest. They do actually have a goal with what they're doing. Their goal is they want to get the city to revoke ICE's permit to use the building. So what they're doing, and they're doing these protests on a weekly basis, is basically what she's telling you is the city has already started the process where they've issued some sort of warning to ICE, where they're like saying, you are not abiding by the terms of the lease that you signed. So they've already issued some sort of warning. And now there's going to be a date coming up very soon where these guys can go to the Portland City Council. By the way, the Portland City Council is controlled by socialists, 50% of it. Like 50% of the people on the Portland City Council are self-professed socialists, okay? So what they're going to do is they're going to try to go to the Portland City Council and say, ICE is endangering the people in the neighborhood by using chemical weapons on them. So what Portland is what these guys are trying to do is they're out in front of the ICE facility to provoke ICE and to provoke other people into getting into fights and things, so that the people at ICE use those pepper balls that I got the pleasure of being shot at me. That was pretty great, by the way. Never had an experience like getting a bunch of pepper balls fired at you. So it's an experience everyone should have in their lives, I guess. But they're trying to provoke that happening because they want to be able to go to the city council and say that ICE is endangering the people in the neighborhood because they want them to pull the permit. Listen again.
Bait, because what we believe is, if we were told to not take the bait, why is the bait here to begin with? Why is that facility still up? There was years and years that could have been shut down, and that is in the hands of City Council. As much as City Council wants to say, we can't do much, we can't do anything, well, guess what? The timeline to revoke the permit, there is a chance for them to revoke that permit and start the reconsideration process in less than 30 days.
Guys, people keep saying the city can't do anything. Yes, they can. They absolutely can. The city is the ones that issued ICE the permit to have that facility. The city is responsible for the land that is on. The city can revoke the permit, and that would get the ICE, and that would require ICE to actually go to a new facility. So for people saying that, they can't do this, yes, they can. They absolutely can. And they're already in the process of doing it. And so can we please, again, hinge back into reality? This is not something that Kash Patel can wave a magic wand and make go away. This is a local zoning issue. Exactly. Cities control zoning and building use permits. They absolutely can do this, and they are going to do this. And this is probably what's going to happen because they're setting up the scenario and they're playing. You want to talk about 4D chess? It's Antifa and the fucking people in Portland that are playing 4D chess while Trump supporters are bitching and complaining about nothing.
November 17th. On November 17th, it would have been 60 days since that building was served with a violation of their land use.
Phyllis, you literally are saying the feds lease it. But this is the point. This is the point. The feds are leasing the building. The lease can be revoked. They are trying to get the lease revoked because they are saying that the feds are not abiding by the conditions of the lease. Can everyone please shut the fuck up and listen to what these people are saying? Okay, so you agree with me. Okay, never mind. You agree with me. So you don't have to shut up. You can keep agreeing with me. That's totally fine.
Permit. And so we call on City Council now more than ever to reconsider this permit and shut down the McAdam facility. That facility serves as a home base for all the federal agents who come in to our city, who come into our state.
Hang on. How does the apartment building play into this? What they're going to say is that because ICE is deploying chemical weapons all throughout the block in that neighborhood, ICE is putting the people in that apartment building in danger because they keep deploying chemical weapons. One of the provisions of the lease is that ICE is not allowed to put the neighborhood in danger. So they're directly using that apartment building to say, look, ICE is putting all of these people in danger every time they deploy pepper balls. So that's why they're trying to provoke them to deploy the pepper balls and do whatever else, or do whatever sound weapon they have, because they're trying to get ICE to actually do things that they can then take and twist and say they are putting the neighborhood in danger. Does everyone understand the play here?
When Trump, or if Trump is able to send the National Guard, they will convene at that facility. And we know without that facility, they would not be doing what they're doing right now. So I would like you to join me in some chants here. The people united will never be defeated.
The people united will never be defeated.
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. The people united will never be defeated. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. We know because we've seen it in other cities across this country. When we stand together, when we fight, we win. We win the power of the people. Where the power of the people is, that is the side of history. That is the side of the future. We must stand together. These threats against our city, they are not going to prevail. They're not going to deter us. They're not going to scare us, because we know that this is necessary. So with this chant, I want you to repeat after me. We have no choice. We have no fear.
We have no choice. We have no fear.
We're fighting for our neighbors here.
We're fighting for our neighbors here.
We have no choice. We have no fear.
We have no choice. We have no fear.
We're fighting for our neighbors here.
We're fighting for our neighbors here. Hey, so I want to point something out. No, it wasn't a huge turnout. It was raining and it was cold. And yet these people are still winning. Do you want to know why? They can get more people to turn out for a rally than conservatives can. I have been to a metric ton of conservative rallies. Most of them are far less attended than this. Do you want to know why else it doesn't matter? Because the goal of these people is to provoke confrontation outside of the ICE facility to get ICE to deploy the chemical weapons so that they can go to the city council and say they are endangering the neighborhood. You don't need many people to do that. So no, it's not a huge turnout, but it's more than what you can do, and it's more than what Republicans can do, And their goal doesn't require there to be a huge amount of people. Their goal just requires focused effort.
We have no choice, we have no fear.
We have no choice, we have no fear.
National Guard is not welcome here.
National Guard is not welcome here.
We have no choice, we have no fear.
We have no choice, we have no fear.
ICE is not welcome here.
ICE is not welcome here.
We have no choice, we have no fear.
We have no choice, we have no fear.
The feds are not welcome here.
The feds are not welcome here.
Thank you guys so much. So we're going to be doing some chants, we're going to be doing some speeches here, and then we're going to be marching down to the ICE facility. If you haven't already, I just have a few brief announcements, but we do have the petition to revoke the ICE permit here if you have not signed it already. We have some signs that you are more than welcome to take. If you'd like to take them home and display them around town, you definitely can, or at the end of the event, if you want to give them back to us so we can use them for future protests, that is also great. So thank you for that. We have some earplugs at the table, some water, some hand warmers, and yeah, I think we're out of ponchos. Oh, and yes, and then we're doing some jail support as our event goes on today. So if there is any case of an arrest or detainment by ICE, which is illegal and we know it is, then we have a few numbers. We have little pieces of paper. We also have some Sharpies over there to write that down on your arm. And again, that is just in case. We don't anticipate these things, but we must prepare for these things. So thank you all so much. And for our first speaker today, please welcome Izzy from Portland for Palestine.
Guys, Chandler's apartment is not zoned as a business. Chandler's apartment is zoned as a residential facility. Do you know how I know that Chandler's apartment is zoned as a residential facility? When you go up to the door of Chandler's apartment, it says, "This is a private residence" on it. I understand that it looks weird, okay? I understand Chandler's apartment being on the ground floor. It looks like it should be a store or something, but it is actually zoned as an apartment. It is an apartment. It is not a business. It is a residential facility. It says it right on the fucking door. Like in really nice, not a sign that he put up, in like really nice type. So I like Chandler's apartment. Like I'm kind of agreeing. Someone else said in the chat, it's really not that relevant. It's relevant in that the people protesting outside the facility have someplace to go because Chandler lets them go hang out there. He lets them go use the bathroom there. But this is not. This is like if a conservative had an apartment down there and he let other conservatives in to kind of like dry off or like use the bathroom or like whatever, because there was no other place to go. There's no other place to go use the bathroom by the ICE facility. Okay. Chandler's apartment is like 2 blocks away from the ICE facility. So I kind of agree that, like, I think the whole idea of Chandler's apartment being like a safe house, and I've said this saying, like, I use the term safe house too, just because it's what people understand. I think it's a little blown out of proportion for what's actually going on there. I really do. Not a Panda over on Rumble says it's a usual game of dialects, demand a solution and create a problem to be solved. Yep, that's true. That's true. Sound like the feds have a better of a backup plan. I'm not sure they will. I agree with that. 100%.
3 weeks ago, I stood here and spoke to you all. I said, there are more of us than there are billionaire, warmongering, colonizer assholes. They have us out-organized for now, but we have them outnumbered. Together we are...
Hang on, we got a super chat from Pete here. Thanks, Pete, for the super chat. Won't ICE and DHS just move themselves and the detainees out and simply lease and build out a new facility? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know, Pete. That's a great question for them. I have no idea. Eastern Oregon's much more conservative than the west of the Cascades. I mean, I don't know, Pete. I don't know the inner workings or thoughts of ICE or DHS, but I think it's a great question for them. I do appreciate the super chat.
Stronger than them, and we can defeat them. Less than an hour later, 5 of our organizers on the front lines were arrested by DHS. They gassed the protest, sprayed bear mace, grabbed our people, threw them to the ground, and dragged them across the concrete. They put them through hell, but guess what? They're all out. They're healed, and they're here right now. It was horrifying in the moment, but in the end, they couldn't stop us. They can't do shit to us. That's the thing about the enemy's power. It's an illusion. We're actually winning. Do you know how much of a coward you have to be to need to use chemical weapons on a residential neighborhood for months because of some pedestrians blocking your driveway?
There it is. This is how they're framing it to the city council. They're saying these evil ICE people have been using chemical weapons on residents for months because these crazy people in costumes are just blocking their driveway. This is how it's going to get framed to the city council when they try to get them to revoke the permit for the facility.
And from court to court, asking, begging for help from the National Guard for a military occupation of our city to deal with some nerds in frog costumes. You know what that tells me? It tells me the enemy is weak. We provoke this much violence with nothing but our presence. This is what tyrants do when they feel their power slipping. They lash out. They desperately try to suppress the masses and scare us back in line. Across the country, they see the people coming together and beginning to unite. So they inflate ICE's budget to a ridiculous degree, trying to tear families and communities apart and terrorize us. They're pouring billions into this Gestapo, desperately trying to keep a dying system alive. Here in Portland, the city issued a land use violation to the ICE facility, which is the first step in getting the permit revoked. This permit was given to ICE to use that building on the conditions that they don't detain people longer than 12 hours or overnight or pose a threat to the surrounding area.
See?
They've obviously
There are the provisions of the lease right there. They're telling us their game plan, guys. Now, listen, I want everyone to pay attention to what I'm about to say, because there's about to be a lot of debunking in the chat. People are going to say, they can't do that. The goal here is to understand the strategy of the left. Regardless of how you feel about the strategy of the left, it makes no fucking difference. The goal here is to understand what is the chess game that the left is playing so you can outmaneuver them. If you want to go, they can't do that because I say so, you're not actually learning anything and it's not productive. If you're going to say, I think that's a stupid plan, well, you're welcome to say that, but they're still going to go ahead and try to revoke the permit on the ICE facility. All right. So there is nothing that you can say in the chat to debunk them that is going to change the fact that this is their strategy. The goal of doing this is to understand what the strategy is and to make sure other people understand what the strategy is. And your feelings about the fucking strategy don't actually make any bit of difference. Phil, thank you. This is a temp holding facility, like 24 hours in Optic Tacoma. Well, Phil, if you had been listening to what this person just said, because listening is what we need to do here, this person just told us that the provisions of the lease say that they are not allowed to hold people past 12 hours. So what you're saying in this chat, that they hold people up to 24 hours, you are literally acknowledging they are violating the provisions of the lease, and that's going to go before the city council, and that's how they're going to get the ICE facility shut down. So again, you literally just proved the communist point because you didn't listen to what they were saying and you wanted to get a debunk in, and this is why I tell people, stop fucking debunking. There's guys, everyone knows, right? Everyone knows in the chat that you're not communicating with the socialists in my chat. You guys know this, right? You guys know that when you say things in the chat like, do you really think this is going to work? You're not communicating with the people in the video. This was on Saturday. People in the video can't hear you, okay? So I need everyone to detach and to look at this information like an adult rather than like an unhinged retard that's desperate to own the lips. Listen again.
Tear us back in line. Across the country, they see the people coming together and beginning to unite. So they inflate ICE's budget to a ridiculous degree, trying to tear families and communities apart and terrorize us. They're pouring billions into this Gestapo, desperately trying to keep a dying system alive. Here in Portland, the city issued a land use violation to the ICE facility, which is the first step in getting the permit revoked.
The city issued a land use violation to the ICE facility, which is the first step in getting the permit revoked.
Country, they see the people coming together and beginning to unite. So they inflate ICE's budget to a ridiculous degree, trying to tear families and communities apart and terrorize us. They're pouring billions into this Gestapo, desperately trying to keep a dying system alive. Here in Portland, the city issued a land use violation to the ICE facility, which is the first step in getting the permit revoked. This permit was given to ICE to use that building on the conditions that they don't detain people longer than 12 hours or overnight or pose a threat to the surrounding area.
So the permit that the city gave ICE to use the facility is contingent upon two things. They do not hold people over 12 hours or overnight, and they do not pose a danger to the surrounding community. The city has already decided that ICE are in open violation of the lease that they signed to use the facility. And now there's going to be a vote coming up in like a couple weeks in the Portland City Council about whether or not to revoke the permit. Does everyone understand what's going on? And P.S., self-professed socialists control half of the city council in Portland. Does everyone realize what's going on? Your opinions do not matter. Your feelings do not matter. The only thing that matters is they are trying to make the case to the Portland City Council that ICE is in violation of the lease that they signed to use the facility by putting the neighborhood in danger, by deploying chemical weapons, and by holding people longer than 12 hours or holding people overnight. That is literally all that matters here. Your opinions on that do not matter. Your opinions on how Antifa looks do not matter. You're saying that they're ugly and fat and trans and all this stuff. It does not matter. You're making fun of their costumes. Does not matter. The only thing that matters is that ICE is trying to be in open. They're trying to make the case that ICE is an open violation of the permit that they signed. That's all that matters. The right's refusal to anticipate the left is why we're losing. The Hydra has many heads, and we must understand all of them. That's exactly right, Latrina. Exactly right.
They've obviously violated all these conditions dozens and dozens of times, which means there are legal grounds to revoke the ICE permit. On November 17th, the permit will return to City Council, who can then vote to expel ICE. They know this. That's why 10 days after the land use violation was issued, Trump started trying to call in the National Guard. That's why just in the last few weeks, they ramped up their usage of chemical weapons and geo-buses full of kidnappees to transport them to the concentration camp in Tacoma. It's obvious to me that they're trying to get in as much cruelty as they can while they still can, because they know they won't be here much longer. We're told to stand down and not take the bait. But like I said, they're lashing out now because they know they are losing. It is critical now more than ever that we keep the pressure up, that we show up, that we stand together, and we take the fight to them and to City Council. They see us doing that. They see us coming back over and over, no matter how many times they try to squash us. That's why they're terrified, because they know we will get the permit revoked and we will get ICE out of Portland.
That's the goal.
ICE out of Portland! ICE out of Portland! ICE out of Portland! ICE out of Portland! ICE!
And see, this is the danger when conservatives run around saying, these people don't even know why they're protesting. They do know why they're protesting. Not only do they know why they're protesting, they have a very strategic, pragmatic plan that they have been enacting over the course of months and months and months. They have been going to the city council over the course of months to go through the entire process of getting that lease revoked. They're doing these protests to support that initiative. They're doing the protests outside of the ICE facility and causing all sorts of problems to get ICE to deploy what they call chemical weapons so they can make the argument to revoke the permit. This is a cohesive long-term plan. This is the danger when you do not understand your fucking enemy. When you think they're just all mentally retarded losers who don't have jobs and they don't know why they're protesting. This is why the right does not understand the left at all. The left is highly strategic. They're highly motivated. They're long-term thinkers, and they tell us what they're doing. All you have to do is listen to them.
Out of Portland! ICE out of Portland! Revoke the permit! 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 Thank you so much, Izzy. For our next speaker, I would like to introduce Adina.
Hola, mi gente! How is everybody doing? Look at these hard Portlanders out here in the fucking rain like this. Look at y'all are the best of us, truly. Thank you guys so much for coming out for us today on this lovely rainy Portland day to support our neighbors. You know, I've had the great pleasure and honor to be out here for a good percentage of the last 130-something days of this continuous protest down here, and I gotta tell you, I have never met a community that is more filled with just the most kindest, loving, salt-of-the-earth people you've ever met in your fucking life.
Hang on, we got a rumble rant from Not a Banda. It's highly possible owning the libs was popularized by the militant left to keep the right wing from getting anything accomplished, a relief valve of sorts. I mean, you're not wrong about that, actually. You're not wrong at all.
They come out night after night to get the shit kicked out of them and come right back the very next day to do it all over again. You know, my husband served in the military.
Well, okay, to make it really clear, this was the afternoon before the tent got torn down. So the tent got torn down on Saturday night. I posted video of it on the channel. This was earlier in the day on Saturday. So this is not today. This was on Saturday. But I mean, do I think getting their tent torn down has demoralized them? Yeah, like a little bit. I do think it has demoralized them to a certain extent. Do I think getting their tent torn down is going to stop them? No. All they did was move all their stuff to Chandler's. All the stuff that was in the tent is now sitting in Chandler's fucking apartment 2 blocks away from the ICE facility. So they're still out there protesting. They're going to regroup. Again, their goal is to instigate and cause problems. They are going to be instigating and causing problems up until they get their vote for the city council to revoke the permit, because that's what they want.
I come from a large family with a lot of military service in it, and there is nothing more disgusting than the bullshit that this administration is trying to get away with right now. It is absolutely an affront to everything that we were taught we stood for as Americans. We have very often in this country fallen short of the promise that we have given to our citizens and to the people of all nations of this world. But I believe that we as Americans and those who come to this country looking for a better life have absolutely every capability of making that promise true. I know that from all of my time growing up in Southern California to living in New England and Maine to now living here in the Pacific Northwest. I have not gone anywhere in this nation that wasn't absolutely filled with the most wonderful people, including all of the many immigrant bosses that I have worked for in my lifetime.
Not yet, Harry, not yet. We'll see if he does. I hope he does.
This right here, coming out and being community together in even the most inclement of weather, day after day, and saying we will not be deterred, we will not fucking walk away from what is right, is the most important thing we can do against fascism right now. Coming out here in our fun little costumes helps point the finger at how ridiculous their violence is, how ridiculous their hate is, and how much there is no place for that shit in our country. It is the honor of my life to be here with all of you, fighting beside you, and it doesn't matter how many times those feds try to bash my face in, how many fucking MAGA pieces of shit pepper spray me like 2 nights ago. It doesn't matter how many times I get burned and injured on this fucking front. I will be here every day until these fuckers are out of Oregon. Thank you guys so much for coming out and being a community with us. If this is your first event, we're going to do everything we can to keep everyone safe, because we are not the problem. Those fucking federal Gestapo are. Thank you guys so much for coming out. This just totally proves to the world that the only thing that's wrong in this country is Donald Trump and his fucking cronies, and we are absolutely going to win. Their hate cannot overpower our fucking love. Thank you guys so much.
Guys, I want to show you something. Hang on, I want to show you something. I want to show you something. Oh shit, I'm gonna have to show it on a different I'm gonna have to show it on a different thing. Okay. I want to show you again, this is another example of conservative retardation. Okay. So, hang on, I gotta get this set up. Do you guys remember yesterday when we were watching Tommy's stream from Portland State University live? And on the stream, I wasn't telling tales out of school. On the stream, Tommy and his friends were talking about buying paintball guns to bring them to the ICE facility, but not having, like, you know, anything they're not supposed to have in them, not having like pepper balls or anything. But do you guys, one in the chat, if you remember yesterday, where we literally heard live on the internet, Tommy and his friends talking about buying paintball guns to bring to the ICE facility? 2 in the chat if you don't remember that. Okay. Bunch of ones in the chat. Because that did happen. Okay. So while the stream was going on, because I thought that was actually kind of funny, I posted breaking news. Tommy and his friends are trying to get paintball guns to bring to the ICE facility, apparently. Nothing could go wrong with this plan. Mostly because I do actually think it's kind of a dumb idea. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think bringing paintball guns to shoot at Antifa is a good idea. I mean, call me crazy. Like, if they want to do it, fine. I will watch them doing it on the internet. I think we'll all be very entertained by them getting paintball guns. I just don't think that's maybe the best idea that's ever been had. So I posted that on the internet. And again, I adore Tommy. I will not say a single bad thing about Tommy. I adore funny, but stupid. Funny, but stupid. Okay. Let's look at the replies, shall we? This is a person I met in Portland. This is actually a guy I met in person. I was perfectly nice to him. Is this what you do? Spread lies and hide behind the word apparently. No one travels with fake guns. We are legal gun owners with CCWS. You are a true snake. I'm glad we know this now. You Antifa clowns are losing. I'll make sure we no longer talk to you. This is what we call a MAGA retard. Not all MAGA people are retarded. But if you are a MAGA person and you are acting like a low IQ fucking retard, then I am going to call you a MAGA retard. And this is a MAGA retard take. Oh, but that's not the only one. That's not the only one. Let's look at the other replies. Hang on. Where is it? Were they replying to him? Hang on. They were replying to him. Hang on. They were replying to him. Oh, shit. Where'd they all go? Oh, I hid them. You want to know why? I fucking hid them. Hang on. I hid them when I blocked them. Okay, here we go. Now you guys can see all the other replies. This bitch is playing... Hang on. Can you guys actually see that? Yes. This bitch is playing both sides. She's definitely a snake trying to profit off this drama. She's never been on our side. It's all a ruse. Whereby their fruits we shall know them. This bitch is a troll. She used MAGA and Tommy to get her name out there, and now she wants to talk shit. Yeah, guys, did you know did you know that no one on the internet knew who I was until Tommy came on the scene? I have literally built my entire career on Tommy's back. I have done nothing else in my life except talk about Tommy and follow Tommy around. I have never gone undercover with Antifa. I haven't been doing journalism for years. I haven't written multiple books. I haven't taught millions of people on the internet about the far left. According to the MAGA retards of Portland, I have literally only hitched my wagon to Tommy. And now they're going to show me, and they're going to run around Portland telling everyone that I'm secret Antifa and no one should talk to me. Ooh. I am so scared. I am so scared of the MAGA retards in Portland. They sure showed me, guys. And again, I love Tommy. I adore Tommy. You can't fix stupid. And this is why we call them MAGA retards. It's not that every MAGA person is retarded, but if you do not understand that these people are not high IQ enough to interact with me, like I literally just don't know what to tell you. So, William, I'll say best of luck, bro. You can try to turn everyone against me all you want. Have fun. Better men than you have tried. See how that goes for you. See how that goes for you. Did I get a super chat or something? I did. Honestly, how does the city know how long people have been in custody? I am just reading. The city has been trying. Well, the city are the ones that signed the permit, and so the city has. Well, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know how long they know about this, but it is ICE's job to abide by the permit that they signed, and if they're not, abiding by the permit, it is what it is. Yeah, you've been sub for a few months, and everyone just heard about Tommy a couple weeks ago. And again, no shade on Tommy. I'm a Tommy fan. I'm a big Tommy fan. But the idea that I just showed up and hitched my wagon to Tommy is probably the dumbest thing yet. Probably the dumbest idea they've had yet. Anyway. Tommy needs money for a lawyer. Well, see, it's hard now for me. It's hard now because, like, normally, and I don't know, I'll probably try to help Tommy out in some way. I will say this, though. It is, when I'm getting attacked by all of Tommy's supporters, and Tommy's supporters are telling everyone that I'm secret Antifa, it makes it really difficult for me to want to support Tommy's fundraiser for a lawyer. I'm sure Tommy has many supporters. I'm sure that they will all chip in. But, like, do you guys understand how it puts me in an awkward position? Because it's like, I love Tommy. I think Tommy's great. But I'm getting attacked by all Tommy's supporters, and all of Tommy's supporters are telling everyone that I'm secret Antifa. So it's kind of like, I don't know. But I think he'll be okay.
How much?
No Trump! No KKK! No racist USA! I said no Trump!
No KKK, no racist USA.
Up with legalization! Down with deportation!
Down with deportation. Up with legalization. No, liberation. Down with deportation. It was so windy. It was incredibly windy out. Oh, listen to that. Listen to that. Did you guys hear that? She just said, I know it might be hard because it's windy and the sound is a little messed up. She just said, we are at war with the federal government in our city. Listen again.
Up with legalization! Down with deportation! Up with liberation! Down with deportation!
Listen.
Guys, I'm so, the rain really has an element of fighting to this, and it feels like we're at war. And you know what? We are against the federal
Betty, and I'm part of Portland Against Deportation. Woo! Thank you so much for being here today. Sorry for the rage, but it is what it is. Today I will be speaking about my experience.
So real,
regarding
so
a
real.
few
But
weeks
remember,
ago.
I'm only here because of
On
Tommy.
Saturday, October 4th,
So real.
I and 4 other organizers, we were detained by ICE at DHS during our event that we had on that day. My first thoughts while being there was fear. The fear of the uncertainty. The fear of what would happen to me and my friends in the future. And then I realized how many people have been in the same position I have. Since DHS seems to be making a hobby to grab and detain whoever they can, whenever they want, and make it into a hobby of enjoyment. Then I thought of the other group of people, the group who are defending and protecting the immigrant community, and how much fear they have felt being inside that facility. I was held in the facility for 11 hours. 11 brutal hours with no food. We were only provided water bottles. The cells are kept cold with AC running the whole time. And there's only metal benches to lay on. So you're cold the whole time and there's no way to keep warm.
All right, Salvatore wants. Oh shit. My baby. Hang on.
I was held in the facility for 11 hours.
Salvatore, here's the link to the video.
No
Thanks
food.
for the Cash
We were
App.
only provided water bottles. The cells are kept cold with AC running the whole time. And there's only metal benches to lay on. So you're cold the whole time and there's no way to keep warm. In the windows, there's posters with instructions on how you can deport yourself. Deport yourself and deport your family. It's so shameful to see that and to see that other people have gone through the same experience. While I was there for 11 hours, we were later transported to Columbia County Jail, which is only 45 minutes away from here. So that was very uncomfortable sitting there with only in handcuffs. And again, I got reminded of the immigrants that had to do the transportation and they get sent to Tacoma, which is 2 hours and 30 minutes away from here, and how uncomfortable they must feel being in that position. So while I faced a lot of fear during my hours in the facility, it only gave me more fire and passion to keep fighting and keep doing what we're doing, which is to revoke the ICE facility and to shut down the...
Hang on, we got a super chat. Tommy needs to reel his peeps back in. Well, listen. Tommy's not in charge of people. Like, I think it's difficult to say that, like, Tommy should be telling people what to do, because I don't think that Tommy is in charge of people. I think Tommy is just showing up and doing his thing, and then other people are showing up too, and it's kind of like, it is attracting an element of retardia. I'm not saying Tommy's retarded. He's not retarded. But like there are people that are showing up at the ICE facility that are absolutely fucking retarded. And it is attracting like an element. And it's more like, I don't view it as Tommy's job to control other people. He's not telling them what to do. He's not giving them marching orders. I don't know how to solve that particular problem though. Because it's not like, I mean, retard's going to retard. Like, what are you really going to do? You can't blame Tommy for that.
Adam ICE facility. So thank you so much for
but I will say this: if I go back to Portland, and I kind of would like to go back to Portland in a couple weeks if this stuff is still continuing. If I go back to Portland, I don't feel comfortable going anywhere near Tommy's side of the near Tommy's camp, and it's not because of Tommy. It's because of all the fucking retards that are congregating in that camp, calling me secret Antifa. Because one of their fucking retarded friends put their hands on me and I fought back against them. So I feel this is the God's honest truth. And I've actually thought about this. I feel there is a higher chance of me getting physically assaulted by MAGA people than there is by Antifa. And I'm not saying there's a 0% chance that I would get physically assaulted by Antifa. There is absolutely a chance I could get physically assaulted by Antifa. But I think, like, if I look at the whole situation as it is right now, if I go back to Portland, I think there is a higher chance that I will physically be assaulted by MAGA people than by Antifa. That's just reality.
And we're gonna keep being here until we get it done. Woo! Thank you!
No hate, no fear. No hate, no fear. I said no hate, no fear. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here.
Hey, thanks, Phil. Welcome.
No hate, no fear. No hate, no fear. No. Immigrants are welcome here. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. No hate, no
See?
Immigrants.
See? You're definitely Antifa. You're not smart enough to be here. Permanently banned. Go away.
Are welcome here. Immigrants are welcome here. Now when I say what do we do, you say stand up, fight back. When immigrants are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When immigrants are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When immigrants are under attack, what do we do?
Maybe Hey Sleazy. I appreciate the super chat. I think that's probably right.
What do we do? All right, thank you all so much. And I would like to introduce our next speaker, Mutaz.
Thank you, Portland. Thank you, my people. This is Portland. This is our people that have been standing here.
Oh,
Again,
this guy goes off on Israel. This is actually, it's kind of amazing. This guy was getting very close to being anti-Semitic, and I was sitting across the street where there was like cover. I was listening to this speech going, say the Jews, say the Jews, say the Jews. I was like so cheering for this guy to go there. He got this close. You guys are gonna see.
The Zionists for a long time, and we can see our system here. It's sad to see as us as Americans, you know, fighting in the streets. People are standing. When you are a son of an immigrant, you know, and this is a stolen land. You're a son of an immigrant, aren't you?
Stolen land.
Unless you're a Native American. Yeah, unless you're a Native American, you have the right to say. But when you see sons of immigrants standing for the other people, other human beings, who dictate the rules? Hundreds of our family were slaughtered in Gaza. The Zionists had killed them. Thousands in Gaza have been slaughtered. And you tell them about the weapons. You tell them I send them the best weapons, Trump. Did you use it well? Use it well on who? On our people. 20,000 years ago, as human beings, we are all from this holy land. From Palestine. You open the Bible. I went to a Christian school. It is saying in the Bible, Palestine. There's nowhere it says Israel. It was a Zionist. But you can stand here and talk all day long. But you have to stand for your fellow human being. They're being dragged and arrested for what? If they want to go after what they call illegals, nobody's illegal. But they are letting the IDF soldiers come in the malls to the chaos, and you see them trying to give you samples, and you ask them where you're from. Oh, from Israel. They're all IDF. They come here illegally and they work illegally, and they've been doing it for years and years. But we, as a human being, we have to wake up, as Americans, you know. Don't let them break you. Don't let you fight. I have a lot of family of veterans. When Netanyahu came in here, this bastard, this loser, this criminal, this genocidal, who was supporting him, he's going to join him in hell because he's a killer, he's a genocidal. By the way, the Zionists are the most coward entity ever came to the Holy Land. If you don't know anything about the Holy Land, you're ignorant. You come as a human being, we love you, you're a Palestinian. We're all from that land, by the way. When I'm looking at my people here in Portland, these are all look like my cousins and my family and my people. When you stand here as Americans, you stand for the people of freedom. But when you touch the people of freedom, there's a lot of veterans here. There's a lot of people who serve the community. There's a lot of medicals, workers, teachers, students. We have multiple generations in this land. And guess what? We as Americans, you know, when I travel to Egypt, guys, and you see us as human beings, you see 250 million people in Egypt. They cannot stand like this. They have no freedom. Then you will appreciate your freedom, and you will appreciate your brothers and sisters' freedom when they stand. Isn't it? This is what the Constitution's about? Tell me, is it the freedom of speech? Tell me, what kind of Constitution? Portland used to be a white city, only for white people. I have 3 generations with my family here. And guess what? If people did not stand, my family were in the front with the civil rights movement. So people can open up for Native Americans. This is their land. For black people are not allowed to be here. This is the truth. This is the history that people try to hide from you. By the way, put it on the news. DNA is not allowed in the state of Israel. DNA is not allowed in the state of Israel because they are not native to that land. They are not native to that land. The ones who carry the Semitic Hebrew DNA, it's us, our people. And that's the truth. Every time they dig under the Dome of Rock, you find the history of the indigenous people of that land. When they came to that land, my family ruled for hundreds of years. With open arms, we protected them. That's the way Palestine is. Yes. And you can remember Palestine. You open your Bible. 1% is left of Christians in that land. 1%. They bombed the Jewish quarters in Gaza. They bombed the oldest church in history. Who did that? The Zionists, with our own taxpayers' money. And we are standing here as Americans being fooled by them.
Yeah. Chicken Spawn, you want to post a link? Chicken Spawn has been actually really fucking awesome on Twitter lately, and because Chicken Spawn has been awesome on Twitter, I am promoting you to moderator, bro. Congratulations on getting your wrench. You can now post links in the chat. I appreciate you. I appreciate all the things you've been doing on Twitter. So so now you can post links in the chat. And use your moderator privileges sparingly, okay? No abusing of the moderator privileges. No abusing of the wrench.
1% left of Christians there. If you are Jewish and you're against the Zionists, they will beat you up. They will trash you. My aunt who raised me, she was Jewish. My aunt Nikki. Her family is well known. She lost a lot of her family in the Holocaust. Guess what happened? When she went back with my uncle in the 50s, she found an apartheid state. Do you agree as Americans to live?
Yeah, I'm Antifa like Malcolm X and the Klan.
Do you agree to America? Do your DNA see who you are as a human being? This is who we are. 20,000 years ago, in that Palestine, Palestine was your homeland. By the millions and the billions who descended, we all Palestinians. You open your Bible, open your Old Testament, open all that, and say Palestine. And Palestine is staying, and they are going away. Thank you.
From Palestine to Mexico. Palestine to Mexico. These racist walls have got to go.
These racist walls have got to go. So you guys hear the chant. So one of the reasons we listen to the chants and we don't just fast forward is the chants tell us what the left thinks. So they're chanting from Palestine to Mexico, these racist walls have got to go. I'm going to say that again. From Palestine to Mexico, these racist walls have got to go. What does that mean? Pop quiz for the chat. What exactly does that mean? From Palestine to Mexico, these racist walls have got to go. Yup, they're open borders. Yup. What else does that mean? Globalize the intifada. That means worldwide socialist revolution. They don't believe in borders. What else? Why are they calling the borders racist? Why are the borders racist? Capitalism must fall. Yup. Borders represent capitalism. Borders represent private property. No borders anywhere. No borders, no capitalism. No borders, no private property ownership. But why is that racist, do you think? Why is that racist? Not white people. Not close, not white people. It's not about your skin color. It's not about your skin color. What does whiteness mean? It does relate to colonialism, sure. Whiteness means close. Whiteness does mean capitalism. Whiteness means private property owner. Whiteness means the bourgeois. It means the oppressor, okay? So when they're saying whiteness, they don't mean skin color. They mean who owns the property. What do you need to own the property? You need to own you need to have a border. Without border, you don't have property. And so when they're saying these racist walls have got to go, they're calling borders racist because the borders enforce, I'm sorry, I'm a little off my game because I'm sick. The borders enforce systemic racism. Systemic racism means the system that upholds racism. That means capitalism.
Palestine to Mexico! Palestine to Mexico! These racist walls have got to go!
These racist walls have got to go.
From Palestine to Mexico! From Palestine to Mexico! These racist walls have got to go! These racist walls have got to go! It's the new chant I heard from our, comrades in Chicago who are out there fighting against the National Guard, fighting against ICE, and also standing up for Palestine.
Well,
repeat after me.
this is actually unironically true. The races were invented to uphold capitalism. Unironically true. I actually have the Denver communists on video saying that when they said whiteness, they meant people who did not work in the sun. So the races were meant to say, okay, here's what the left believes. Prior to slaves, and I'm not saying I agree with this, I'm explaining to you what the left believes, okay? Prior to slaves coming to America, which the left said happened in 1619, although it happened earlier than that, but they say that white people were not created until slaves were brought to America because they had to create the social category of whiteness to mean the landowner or the private property owner, whereas blackness meant the owned or the private property. So prior to white people being created, they were identified by their ethnicity. They were British or Irish or Spanish or French or German or things like that. White people as a category, again, this is what the left believes, not what I believe. White people as a category was meant to denote who owns the private property, who owns the slaves, people who do not work in the sun. You could have dark skin color and still be a property owner today, although certainly it was much less common back then, but that's what they mean. And so when you're seeing things like Larry Elder being called the black face of white supremacy, that's what that is in reference to. Larry Elder, obviously a very black man, is called the black face of white supremacy because he's a capitalist. He's the bourgeois. He's the property owner. We have Cheryl Harris on video saying black people can be white too if they ascend to property ownership. So that's what that's in reference to. It's not about skin color. It's always about capitalism. You're sending me a care package? All right. I'll probably be okay by the time it gets here. But thank you, Trendlin. I appreciate it.
No ICE, no deportations. No ICE, no deportations. No Israeli occupation. No Israeli occupation. No ICE, no deportations. No ICE, no deportations. No Israeli occupation. No Israeli occupation. No ICE, no deportations. No ICE, no deportations. No Israeli occupation. No Israeli occupation. All right, guys, and to finish up our program here, and then we'll get marching, get moving, get warm. Please welcome Omar from the Freedom Road Socialist Organization.
Freedom Road Socialist Organization.
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
Spanish. Oh, my favorite Spanish. Burrito, taco, nachos, quesadilla.
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. Hell yeah, everyone. Thank you for being out here in this downpour. We're going to be here rain or shine. Love seeing all these lovely...
Fun fact. The Freedom Road Socialist Organization actually has a store in Seattle. I know they have a store because Average Person and I went to it. Average Person and I went around to all these bookstores in Seattle, and it was pretty fucking awesome, actually. And so one of the bookstores we went to is actually the Freedom Road Socialist Organization has a physical store, an event and meeting space in Seattle. I got a couple of books there. I got a whole bunch of pamphlets. So that's actually the second socialist organization on the road that I went to their store. I also went to the RevCom store, which is across the street from the University of California, Berkeley.
Faces out here saying, fuck ICE! Fuck ICE! Fuck ICE! Hell yeah. Fuck ICE! Yeah, fuck ICE! Fuck ICE! Fuck MAGA! Fuck MAGA! That's right.
Oh, that was the Freedom Socialist Party? Okay, maybe I'm wrong about that. They all blend together. Thank you for the correction. I appreciate it.
We're an organization fighting for revolution here in the United States. Hell yeah. We recognize that all the efforts to revoke the ICE permit, all the protests of that abusive facility cannot be abandoned in the face of increased repression from Trump, ICE, DHS, and any other reactionary institution that aims to quell the righteous anger of the people. As a first-generation Chicano from Southern California, I know all too well the danger that that facility presents to the most vulnerable. It exists as an avenue for transport to the hellscape that is the Northwest Detention Center. It continuously abuses the rights of immigrants and our right to protest their human rights abuses. We've seen an escalation across the board. Protesters are constantly being illegally detained and held for numerous hours for no reason. They aim to
Not a Panda says gold. Thank you, Not a Panda.
Shame on them. But where there is repression, there is resistance. And we are seeing this here in Portland and all across the country. From Los Angeles fighting back and defying the occupation of their city by the National Guard, to Chicago fighting back against ICE and campaigning to shut down the Broadview facility, and to the people of Florida resisting.
Hang on, we got a Rumble rant from Tiffanel. Karlyn, are you worried that they're going to say buying stuff in their stores helps fund communism? Too funny. How many books did you get? Yeah, so I got I got a ton of stuff. I got a ton of stuff on this trip. I've been so sick that I haven't been able to organize it since I got home. But I got a bunch of books. So on the trip, I went to a whole bunch of socialist bookstores. My goal was to find two things. Number one, I'm always on the lookout for zines. I want the zines because when you get zines, you're getting something that you can't get on Amazon. So when I'm going to like these socialist bookstores, I'm looking for things that I don't have access to on the internet. Things that like you can only like old stuff or like you can't find on the internet. That's what I want. And so I'm looking for zines. I got a metric ton of zines. I've got like 3 big stashes of zines from this trip that I've yet to even go through. I got some books. The books that I bought were like older books though. It's like old out of print stuff or like, things that were written in like the 70s or the 80s or things like that are just kind of like old that I can't get today. So I got a bunch of stuff about queer militancy because I'm working on a book about queer Marxism. And so that was really cool. And then I got a bunch of like merchandise. I got like t-shirts. I got some commie merchandise. Some of the coolest stuff I got, and I showed a little bit of this on the stream I did after I was on Fox News. I got a lot of old commie magazines. So Average Person and I went to a used bookstore in Seattle. They had a whole stack of like old commie magazines from like the 70s that were like in pristine condition. They're called Liberation Magazine. And so it wasn't something I was anticipating buying, but I was just like, oh shit, I have to get these. Because it's like, I want to start collecting and archiving a lot of this old stuff so that we can track the development of the ideology and track what's actually inspiring them. Awesome. Yes, I would like to get access to that. We're always trying to find the zine archives online. There are a ton of, oh, by the way, there were a ton of hang on. At the actual book fairs that I went to. So I went to a book fair. I went to an anarchist book fair in San Francisco, and I went to an anarchist book fair in Seattle. And at those book fairs, there were multiple zine distribution outlets. So like I got to learn the names of other distros to look for, because when we're looking for like online propaganda, we have to find where they're distributing them. And so there were a ton of different zine distributors that I had never heard of before. So that's something that we're looking for, is their distros, because that will give us access to their full kind of catalog of zines. So we got a lot of good stuff. I am going to show it to you guys. I've just been so sick that like when I haven't been streaming, I've just been kind of like sleeping or resting. I haven't even unpacked my suitcase yet. My suitcase is sitting on the floor in my bedroom right now, just like completely full. Okay, hang on. Let me get a screenshot of this, Jayla. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see, Tiffanel, cool beans. That's stuff I was asking about big time. I really appreciate you talking about this. People in Chicago can also find this stuff. Chicago is a hub. You know, I almost went back through Chicago. I almost decided to stop in Chicago on my way home. And I was like, nah, man, I'm tired. I'm sick. I just want to go home. But if I end up going out to Portland again, which again, I would like to do if the MAGA retards cut the bullshit, maybe I'll go through Chicago and stop there for a couple days and see what's going on there and do some recon in Chicago because I didn't have the chance to do it last time. That would definitely be a good stop because there's a lot of socialist shit going on in Chicago. Oh, shit. I appreciate that. Where's my, hang on. I lost my stream. There it is. Found it.
The operation of Alligator Alcatraz, people all over the world are rising to the moment and fighting for true freedom and justice. And while Donald Trump is one of the most outwardly reactionary and bigoted idiots that have taken the position of president, we must recognize that the attacks on immigrants did not begin and will not end under his administration. So long as this rotten capitalist system exists, so long as the United States continues to compete.
Yo, we got a $20 super chat from James. Can you give us an idea of what you have noticed as an evolution example of things you've collected, or is it too early to form an example? Well, this is kind of what I'm working on in my book about queer Marxism, James. And actually, I'm not going to do it, but like, I'll show you where to find it. Okay. So if you want an example of what I'm talking about, and the reason I'm deflecting on this is just because my voice is so bad because I'm sick, but I'm going to tell you exactly when I've explained this exact question. I want you to go to my Substack. That is karlyn.substack.com. Click on the new to my work start here thing in the middle of the page. And what I want you to do is go and listen to this. It's the third one down, An Introduction to Queer Marxism, the Left's Most Dystopian Ideology. This is about an hour-long talk I gave several weeks ago now. But this talk about the development and the evolution of queer ideology, I figured this out almost entirely from looking at the zines. Okay, so looking at their zines, looking at their propaganda, looking at all of the different literature that was coming out. So I explained to you explicitly the development of queer Marxism as a political ideology based on their propaganda. And that all came from the type of stuff that I'm looking for in these bookstores. And so what I want to do is one of the things that we're going to do through the Center for Left-Wing Studies is I want to make an archive, like a public archive of this to explain all this stuff to people. But that all takes time. It takes time to read it. It takes time to analyze it. It takes time to archive it. So I need people to be patient. This is a long-term project. This is not something that's going to happen overnight. But we have all the materials we need. I also have the volunteers that have been patiently waiting in the Center for Left-Wing Studies, and I appreciate everyone who's been patiently waiting in the Center for Left-Wing Studies, because you guys are going to help me do all this stuff, and we're getting our shit together, okay? And we're going to be making all this public, and so I appreciate everyone's support in that. So far, I have found 26 socialist bookstores around the country. I'm sure there are more. I'm turning it into a state-by-state directory. That's awesome. Are you in my Center for Left-Wing Studies Discord or trying to get into my Discord? Because if you're doing that, we should get that into the Center for Left-Wing Studies, mapping the modern activist left map. That's super helpful that you're doing that research. That's awesome. And I want access to it, and I want to make that public. I want to help you do that, essentially. So I appreciate that. All right, back to this. Where are you going? Well, no. So we can't do this because the thing is like the reason I'm doing it the way I am is I do not want AI dictating the research. AI is what, and I appreciate the suggestion, Brad. Here's the thing, though. I've been working with AI long enough to know AI is awesome about many things. AI also gets a lot of stuff wrong. And so when I'm researching the left's propaganda, The reason I go to real world events is I want to know what they are reading in the real world. It's not just a matter of like finding anything online, because we can find a lot of random shit online. I want to know what's actually influential. I want to know what's being distributed at the book fairs. I want to know what propaganda they're focusing on. Anyone can write a zine. Any psycho on the internet can write a zine, okay? Just because someone writes a zine doesn't mean that zine is influential. Just because someone writes a paper or makes a video doesn't mean that thing is influential. I want to know what is actually driving the activists, what the activists are reading, and the AI cannot help us with that. We have to go in person to see what they're reading in person so that we can then find the digital files that directly correlate to what is being done in the real world. So I think there are a great many things that AI is very, very useful for. But in terms of like the research, I always want to take a human first approach with that and make sure we're double checking everything, because AI gets just a metric fuck ton wrong. But it's not, no. It doesn't know what resources are being used in the real world. You're not listening to what I'm saying. AI can find a lot of shit. That's very true. AI doesn't know what's going on in the real world. And that is the disconnect that we're talking about. I need us to be hinged into reality with the real world. AI cannot do that for us, bro. I'm sorry. What is this person doing? Where are they going? What's happening? What the fuck? Oh, probably just getting out of the rain. They went offline for a little bit. Oh, here's the protest. Okay. Shit, they missed the whole capitalism speech. Fuck. There was a really amazing speech where the person just said capitalism over and over and over again, and I guess the news agency missed it. All right, well, whatever. That's lost to history. If you get into the Discord, you can just help us like do it. Get into the Center for Left Wing Studies Discord. That's going to be much better. You're going to have other people there that you can talk to about it. All right, so I guess we're getting into their protest and their march now.
Not for bombs and deportation.
Yeah, so I want to just build off something Chris is saying here. Let's see. Chris said, hang on, I saw him say it. Where did he say it? Oh no, it might have been too far back. Where did he say it? Hang on. Anyway, oh, here it is. Chris said, I'm going to the St. Pete Zine Fest in February. So one of the things I'm going to be doing, and this is, again, something that became very clear to me while I was on the road, I want to start building a directory of people that is only available to people that, like, to me and people that I trust very much, where I want to know who is willing to go to events like this in real life all over the country. Because one of the things that's very clear to me from being put on the Antifa hit list wall is that perhaps my profile is getting too large where I can't go undercover at stuff anymore. And that really sucks. And I'm really upset about it. but like I need to have a way for other people to go undercover that I work with to help get us information that I can no longer get. Okay. So I'm going to be doing like a little call out to people to say, do you want to go to like these types of events in your area? Do you want to get involved in the DSA in your area? Do you want to, yeah, like this is like the Red Menace militia. That's exactly right. We're going to create, we're not going to use that word. That word has implications, Oregon born. But yeah, we're basically creating our own secret army of spies. But I need to know where people are around the country, because if there's like an event that I know of in North Carolina or Texas or California, I need to know who to send that to, basically. And so I'm going to be doing a call out to try to find that information. When you get that information, I'm going to encourage people, don't sign up under your real name. Like have some sort, like you can create a fake name or whatever. Because like I don't want anyone to get themselves doxxed. I don't need to know your real name. I just need to know where you are in the country. And I just need to know like what type of stuff you want to do. So think of a good alias, and we're going to create a secret list of people that's able to go to these types of events all over the country in person and get information for us. And we're going to create our own intelligence network. Okay.
We say fight back! We say fight back! I says go back! I says go back! We say fight back! We say fight back! I says go back! I says go back! We say fight back! We say fight back!
Breaking news. Someone just tagged me in this on Twitter. Shout out to Gary who tagged me in this on Twitter. A federal judge has blocked President Donald Trump's administration from pulling sexual education funding over curricula mentioning diverse gender identities. So guess what, guys? Trump's executive order about not teaching gender identities in school now means nothing. You're telling me that woke isn't dead? You're telling me that queer Marxism is still going to be taught in schools? You're telling me that Trump is actually not going to save us all and nothing's going to change? You're telling me that it's exactly like it was before he became president again? Wow. It's almost like exactly what I said was going to happen when the original executive order was issued. Look at that kid.
We have no choice, we have no fear.
This is not welcome
here. We have no choice, we have no fear.
there he is. There he is. There he is. There's James Klug in that faggoty hat with his fucking initials on it. Look at this. There he is. James Klug has got a fucking hat with his initials. You guys can't really see it. He's got a stupid hat with his initials on it. I cannot deal with fucking content creators that are just out there that are provoking content to try to create a fucking personal brand. It's like, this should be, I mean, maybe this is just me. This should be about informing the public of what's going on, not selling fucking merchandise. His own fucking initials on the hat. It's like, how gay can you possibly get? And I'm going to tell you, that guy looks gay in person. I was like, oh, bro. I walked by him several times. I was like, gay. Gay. I'm sure he thinks I'm a lesbian. It's fine. He's allowed to. But it's gay. It's gay and fake and retarded and cringe.
Oregon at an anti-ICE.
Listen, all lesbians think I'm hot. Don't introduce me to any fucking lesbians. Lesbians meet me and like half an hour later, they're renting a U-Haul. And I'm like, I am married to a guy and I really like dick, okay? I know that all lesbians love me. I am irresistible to fucking lesbians. This is my struggle. I am surrounded by gay men and lesbians. Gay men want to take me shopping and fix my hair. And lesbians just want to rent a U-Haul and move into my house. There was random salsa. This is okay. So now we're outside the ICE facility. So you guys can see the ICE facilities over here. There was a random salsa dancing workshop that was happening in the rain on Saturday outside the ICE facility. Hang on. That's not why they're doing the costumes. That's not why they're doing the costumes. The reason they're doing the costumes and the dancing and all, first of all, Portland is just a really weird place in general. This is totally a Portland thing. This is not a far left thing. This is a Portland thing because Portland is just it's a really weird kind of creative place. If you've never been to Portland, you might not get it, but it is, Portlandia is a real thing, okay? So that's part of the reason why they're doing it. But the main reason why they're doing the costumes and they're doing all the tomfoolery is they're trying to provide a contrast between ICE using chemical weapon, what they call chemical weapons on the neighborhood. And then they're like, we're just hanging out here in costumes. And ICE is using these evil chemical weapons to try to put us all in danger. Because remember, the goal of this exercise is to get the city to revoke ICE's permit. How they're going to make the argument to revoke ICE's permit is that they're going to say ICE is literally putting us in danger. And so they're trying to create as much contrast as possible to say, we're just innocent people fucking around in costumes, and they're shooting these chemical weapons at us. That's why they're doing it. That's why. Loja, thank you. These chants hurt my ears. I went to a pro-Palestine protest summer 24. They were tiresome and draining. Well, yes, the left is very tiresome and draining. That is very true. Thanks for the super chat. T. Dillon, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. I have a Scribd account, tons of obscure material. I'd love to search. Yes, 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 yes. I know I sound like I'm having an orgasm right now because I kind of am. That's an amazing idea. I love this. Yeah, get in touch with me on Substack. Send me a DM on Substack. You can do that through Substack. I will get back to you. I owe many people messages back, but I appreciate you volunteering to do that. I think it's an awesome, awesome, awesome idea. So that's kind of really the end, guys. I mean, there's a bunch more you can see. This goes on for another couple hours of them protesting outside of the ICE facility. You can see it's kind of the same basic stuff that we've been watching the whole time. You might even see me wandering around there because I was wandering around a little bit. But I don't think we're going to watch the whole protest because I think that's enough. I was really hoping they got all the speeches. They did not get all the speeches, and that kind of sucks. But that's all right. Oh, look, they're dancing in the streets on this one. Look, they're doing salsa dancing in the middle of the street. Stunning and brave. Stunning and brave. Anyway, I wanted to give you guys a taste into that particular event that happened on Saturday. I wanted you to hear some of their speeches. They were super socialist in nature. And I think that that's good for tonight. I think it's a good stream. I basically lost my voice. I will be back at 9 p.m. Jennifer and I are going to be doing Disenraged tonight. We have to do the second part of our Halloween episode, which I didn't do last week because I was coming down with the cold last week. So I'm going to go take a little bit of an hour and a half break, and we are going to be coming back to do another show tonight. And so hopefully my voice kind of like keeps up until then. Until then, guys, please make sure you are subscribed to my Substack. That is Karlyn, KARLYN.substack.com. And if you want to support the work I'm doing and keep me in business, sign up for $8 a month, $80 a year. I appreciate everyone who sent in super chats today. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you have mounted the like button on the way out the door. And we'll be talking about the origin of Halloween at 9 p.m. if you want to come back and listen to that. It's just going to be chill. Ooh, that's a good idea. I love garlic. Garlic's a good idea. I might do that. I'm definitely going to go get some tea. But I appreciate you guys, and I will be back in a little while. Thank you. Take care. Have a good one. We'll see you soon. Bye.
How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer. completely like
I'm not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.